Hello, everybody, and welcome to the DK and Bill Wrestling Podcast. I'm Bill,
I'm DK.
and today we're going to go do another review as we will be reviewing Unforgiven in Your House from 1998. We'll get into how we picked that show and everything behind that as well.
hmm
But, um, you know what, real quick, before we get going on everything, because I'm sure that we have listeners who only listen to one show instead of the other. I just want to briefly plug our new project we're doing, the Downtown Dollar Bill Sports Gambling Podcast.
Man, you were so good at that.
I know. I thought I'd be messing it up by now.
I
Um,
created this really challenging name for this show, and he's just nailing it every time. I wouldn't have gambled on that.
so we basically we pick whoever it is each week. We pick an X number of games and we bet, quotes, bet on who
Yeah, we
will
wager
win.
units. They're
Right. We
not
use,
actually money.
yeah, well, it's not real money.
Yeah, it's just for who's better.
Mhm.
And a little gambling talk never hurt nobody. So
No. And we usually, well, we've done at least the last two on a Friday. So usually probably by like the latest I'd say is Friday is when we do an episode. And this is during the football season. So um
yeah. Like I'd almost like to do it a little bit earlier, but like we get pretty busy during the week, and
yeah.
just so we get that Thursday game in sometimes, that'd be nice.
Mhm.
But
Oh
you
yeah.
know, like I kind of understand the NFL players complaining about the Thursday games because it's a
I
quick turnaround.
I do too.
And that's basically why I'm like, hey, let's do it Friday because it's a quick turnaround. It's
Mhm.
tough. So I can't imagine what players have to go through when they play a
Right.
game Sunday afternoon and then they got to play on Thursday night.
Oh yeah.
Turnaround.
And if you guys are looking for this, it's a podcast exclusive only. It's not a video as well as a podcast. It's a podcast exclusive only. And you could find it in the History and Legacy of Sports podcast under that channel. So it's not too hard to find. So just wanted to give a quick plug about that one.
Yeah, and we will be plugging that show a little bit more, like on my social media accounts. Like
Mhm.
now we got the logo all set up, and I do got to say
Yes.
it's fantastic.
Yes, thank you to
Hey,
my dear close personal longtime friend Mike, who I've known for oh gosh, it's been over 15 years, I think, and he's
what?
come up with fantastic, like if you guys need any like artwork, podcasting, whatever done, Mike's your guy. Mike
Yeah, it was
is
just
your
perfect. Like the coloring, like the description, it
mm-hmm,
just came right, and it kind of grabbed your attention, which and like the dollar bill sign
mm-hmm.
and everything that went into it. Even the football was in a good spot. Like
Mm-hmm.
when you sent that to me, I'm like, I have no complaints.
So
You
if
got criticized, but this is great.
and you know what, I'll even share I think he has a website as well, so I'll share it with you guys. So if you ever have a project, either personal or at work, and hey, maybe your boss wants something made and be like, hey, I know a guy who could do it. Mike's your guy.
Well, I might because if I have been in the past making YouTube videos, gaming videos
Mm-hmm.
like Madden or NHL, and I always have such a hard time getting like finding a good thumbnail for it and
Mm-hmm.
like getting all that tedious work done. So I might have to actually give your buddy a call about that too.
Oh, absolutely.
Maybe you can help me out with that. And
Maybe, yeah.
I know a lot of YouTubers. They usually get someone to do the thumbnails
And
for.
and if he can't do it, then I have three nephews that are willing and ready to go. That'll
Ah, beautiful.
and they'll do
It's,
it for
it's,
free. So,
the kids don't work.
all
That's
right. So, before we get to Unforgiven, we do have to take care of a little piece of news. It's minor news, but the merger is official. WWE and UFC officially merged on Tuesday to become TKO. That's going to be the stock name if you want to buy stock. And like DK mentioned to me off air, Monday night was officially the last WWE event ever ran by a McMahon. The last one. On all days, September 11th. Just
Yeah.
saying. I'm just saying. I'll be honest. I mean, I didn't watch the whole thing, but it didn't feel any different watching it Monday night.
Well,
Is
like they're still gonna be there, right?
oh yeah, they are. You know,
So
like
it's
Vince is still
not like Vince waved by or anything, and
exactly,
like the McMahons are out, and there's like a whole new leadership group. That would
exactly.
be a bigger story. This is just like higher ups.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like a hockey team or a football team getting like a new president.
Yeah,
All the players and the coaches are the same, so it's not going to change drastically. Like hopefully some of the stuff that was going on, the shady stuff that was going on before, we don't have to hear about anything like that ever again
yeah. Hopefully,
involving like Vince and stuff. But besides that, like I don't see it being a huge change.
and what a wonderful way to go out with the end of Raw Monday night with Nia Jax returning
Yeah, I did hear about that.
at the end of Raw Monday night.
What was she like in better shape? I heard something about
She has lost a good amount of weight.
that. Okay.
She looks very good. I mean,
If people would listen to the show, and since you're listening right now, I hope they've listened to all the episodes. If not, they're in the archives.
check the archives.
I've been very critical of Nia Jax for her being dangerous in the ring. Um, I think, like, without being sounding too rude, it's because of how overweight she was, and like she was just so much bigger than the people she was working with.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully, if she's in better shape and she's maybe trained and learned how to be a better wrestler in her
Yeah.
absence, hopefully that is something they can do. So did she interact with Rhea Ripley?
Yes, she did. She beat her up after the match on Monday night.
Okay, so how does this work? Babyface heel type. Because Nia Jax is not a babyface. Rhea Ripley's in a heel group. So
Right.
what do they do? That's well, you know what? This was the criticism I had of the Judgment Day and Rhea Ripley being champion because she's just gonna be a heel the whole time and keep the belt. Like she's gonna be the
Right.
female Roman Reigns. It's gonna get boring. And now you have somebody coming and attacking her. So does this instantly make her a babyface?
I don't know. I guess to like the real diehards, it might.
Like for me, if a heel attacks a heel, then the crowd will side with the person getting attacked.
Right.
Now they're a babyface. This is like if you looked up how to become a wrestling fan, like things to know,
Mm-hmm.
that's one of them. Like if
Yeah.
you wanted a guy to not be a heel anymore, you just had him get attacked and get sympathy from the crowd.
If we had a wrestling course in college and we came up with the textbook,
Yeah.
that's gonna be somewhere in the book of how to be a wrestling fan.
Hey, hold on. I just got graded. That this should be an episode. We will teach people.
Oh, that would be awesome.
Yes, it'll be a long episode.
Oh my god, yeah.
We will like I always said, oh, we should have an episode where we teach people like terminology.
Mm-hmm.
Like
That would be
like
a pretty fun episode.
different like what a mark is, what color is. Like there are people that just watch wrestling
Yeah.
and they don't know what half this stuff is being said.
Right.
Like honestly, 5 years ago, I didn't know what shoot meant. I
Mm-hmm.
had no idea what it meant. I heard Austin say it on his podcast so many times. I Googled it and I'm like, oh, okay. It means it's real. Sweet.
Right.
I'm it was kind of stupid. I didn't know what that meant. I just never understood what it meant. So that was always an idea for me, like for me and you to sit down and like, okay, what does this mean?
Okay, I can actually give everyone a lesson right now on
All right.
on using a wrestling term and how not to use it.
Okay.
So, and I've actually never told you this story, DK.
All right.
I think you're gonna get a kick out of this.
Okay.
So, almost a year ago, we did an entire episode on the Montreal Screwjob.
We did.
So, I normally am the one who puts out like, okay, this is what DK and I did on the show.
Yeah.
And I put hashtag Montreal Screwjob, thinking,
Sure.
okay, it's kind of known.
Right.
Well, like a day or two later, I get this thing from Twitter like, we're giving you a warning because you have used that. And I had to actually like, they gave you the option. I don't know if it's still there or not.
Yeah.
The option to argue you're, getting a warning. So I explain, writing it down what it was. And they're like, after review, we're going to take your warning away. You do not have a warning.
What did they think? It was like a porn site or something?
I think so, or some kind of a.
So you just had to write
event.
WWF Montreal Screwjob next time.
So if you ever do anything about the Montreal Screwjob, just maybe hashtag Montreal.
Yeah, like that's the problem. Like that city will always be known for that. Like
Yeah.
they'll be known for 24 Stanley Cups.
Yep. Almost having the World Series in
Bret
91.
Hart getting screwed up, getting screwed, and losing a baseball franchise.
Yeah. So,
and can I give my condolences to our friend JC, who is in Toronto right now as we record this, and it's 7-0 for Texas.
Yeah.
He thought he was going to bring good luck to the Blue Jays. He's from Northern Alberta. He drove to Edmonton, and then he flew to Toronto. A long day of trip.
Dad.
He's got 5. Yeah, a buddy of his, and then his dad, a few other guys there. And he's and it's like I haven't checked the score in the last couple of innings, but it was 7-0 last time I checked. So
this is after Texas lost Max Scherzer for the rest of the season.
Yeah.
Well, which bums
Max
me
Scherzer
out.
He did enough damage to Toronto in that game before he went up. Like he looked like Max Scherzer 4 years ago.
And that bums me out because I think highly of Max Scherzer as a pitcher.
Yeah.
But,
So,
but yeah.
I know he's one of my best friends, and he's on a lot of these shows with us. So I just want to give a little shout out to Jason. I'm sure he's drowning. I'm sure he's drowning his sorrows in Rogers Center draft, and we might get a call later.
Oh, he's probably gotten like the $5 Bud Light by now. He told me he was going to do that. So
yeah, I think. And I don't think he'll be there for Looney Dog Day. I think that's Tuesday.
Oh, too bad.
Yeah. So, anyways, let's get back to what we were talking
All
about.
right.
Unforgiven 98.
Yes.
Who picked this and why did they pick it? I don't remember.
Okay.
It was a while.
So a while ago, we had a vote. It was between this show and I think I picked Judgment Day 2001. It ended in a tie, a literal tie. So me, out of the kindness of my heart, was like, you know what? I think my show went last time. Why don't we do one of your shows? So that's how we got to this show.
Okay.
Let me actually, you know what? Let me look up when that poll was. You keep talking. I'm going to look up when.
Well, I think the reason I wanted to review the show is I kind of wanted to go back to the beginning of the Austin era, because I do have some criticism of the WWF at this time, because I don't think they had like heels ready for him when he became champion. Like I think they kind of threw it all together. Like Sean was leaving.
Right.
Now I don't know like when they knew that. Like I think if he doesn't get hurt at the Royal Rumble, do you think maybe Sean sticks around and they kind of kind of go back and forth for a little bit after the WrestleMania match?
Maybe.
Or do you think Sean was always going to leave? That's kind of and like there's other kind of storylines that are kind of good. This is like the pay-per-view right after WrestleMania 14. Mike
Had
Tyson
he
was there.
had
But
he
it's a
not
transition too.
had he not had the injury, I think he would have stayed a little bit longer and then maybe take a break.
Yeah, you kind of wonder like how would that have gone?
Yeah.
Like how do you be Shawn Michaels, the Heartbreak Kid, showstopper, the headliner, all the nicknames he had, lose to Steve Austin the way he did at WrestleMania, and then does he come back and just feud with Steve Austin and lose a few more times? Because I don't think they were going to have Austin and Michaels kind of go back and forth with the belt.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to talking about it. There's like a cool match that we've never seen again. Well, maybe we haven't seen again. I don't know. There's the Inferno match,
right,
with Undertaker and Kane that we'll talk about, and then basically all the backlash from WrestleMania 14.
Yeah.
The first pay per view since that.
So I did look. We or you posted that poll back in May. And it ended in a tie. So we had this on the back burner for close to 4 months. We had a lot to do. We had Barry Horowitz on.
Shit. Barry Horowitz. Yeah, right. Okay, so I do want to mention that on my side of the technology part, I should be good to go now for our watch along with Barry. So now time to maybe reach out to him
absolutely.
And maybe like in a few episodes. We got a few things scheduled, but definitely if you guys haven't listened to the episode, I wasn't able to join that show, which totally sucked, but it was an awesome interview that you did with Barry. We are going to watch along with Barry his SummerSlam 95 victory over Skip, the Body Donnas. So I'm excited to talk to Barry, just to talk to him, and I'm excited to kind of talk like about the match and how things are going. And I want to ask him some backstage stuff too.
I might sit back and just grab a cold one and just drink and just watch him talk.
I want to be like, hey Barry, was Shawn Michaels as we think he was? And like, I don't know if he'll answer that completely honestly.
You know
like,
what?
He might not want to bury.
I think talking to Barry.
And we got to schedule our match.
I think he'll give you an honest answer. I really do. So
and okay, Barry, I hope you're listening to this episode. Okay, this is a challenge from DK. Okay, Saints, Bucks, Madden 24. No Tom Brady for you. You got Baker Mayfield. Are you ready?
Oh God.
Okay, I'm a Madden guy.
Yeah,
I play. I play not competitive Madden, but I play a lot of Madden. Tom Brady, I'm glad he's off the Bucks.
I don't know, man. Barry.
I got Derek Carr now. Kamara come out the backfield. I use the Saints almost every time.
Barry's an ass kicker in Madden.
Yeah, I'm thinking I might want to pick like another team first. Don't pick the Cowboys, so if I get smoked, then it's funny because the Cowboys lost. And then if I'm competitive, then I'd be like, okay, I might be able to take this guy. So I think that would be fun. We could stream it and put it on.
We'll have to get something figured out on that one.
EK gets his ass kicked by Barry Horowitz. Like, who's not watching that? I think it'd be more exciting if I did get my ass kicked.
And then when DK passes away, you know how on tombstones people be like, God bring me home. DKs will say, I got my ass kicked by Barry Horowitz in Madden.
Yeah, we didn't have to say in Madden because they might think I was like a wrestler and he beat me for the title in like the main event. That sounds even better. So.
Madden Mania.
Yeah.
All right. So
check out the Barry Show is one of the best.
Yes. So before we get into the show itself, we try to have a segment where we check to see what is happening the day of a pay-per-view that we review. So this is around the wrestling world.
Cue
And
the theme song that we don't have yet.
yeah, beep, 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 beep.
Hey, Mike, can you do music too?
No, he can't, unfortunately.
Okay.
So
if anyone can do a theme song for us, but like we have our own song for the show, not on YouTube, but like on the Spotify or stuff. But
like a quick
someone
10-second blurb.
If someone can help us out with a couple theme song for YouTube, that'd be great.
Yeah, like I said, just 10 seconds. That's all it needs to be. Okay, so believe it or not, WCW ran a show the same day as Unforgiven. This was held in Roanoke, Virginia, in the Civic Center. This is courtesy of the history of WWE.com. I don't have an attendance number, so we're just going to go with the results here. The Barbarian defeated Bobby Eaton. Juventud Guerrera and Seco Play defeated La Parca and Psychosis. Okay, that one.
Funny? I only know those wrestlers because of WCW versus the NWO on Nintendo 64. I never watched WCW that much. I just remember those cruiserweights from the video game.
Actually, that tag match might not sound bad.
Juventud Guerrero was a pretty good performer. He never came to WWE, eh?
He did.
Did he?
But he wasn't there for long.
Did he have a mask?
No, he was unmasked.
I don't remember him being there. Was it like right like in 01 when they kind of merged and they had like this lame WCW roster when it should have been so much better?
I want to say 05 is when he came, but I'll have to check.
05, right. Yeah, a few years later then.
Yeah. Hacksaw Jim Duggan. Oh, Jim, hope you're getting better. He was under the weather recently. Hope you're getting better. He defeated Reese.
Reese was that tall, like flat. He had flat top.
Yeah, I think that's who it was.
Yeah.
Diamond Dallas Page defeated Raven. Scott Steiner defeated Lex Luger by disqualification when Rick Steiner interfered.
This was a house show, right?
This is a house show.
Okay.
Kevin Nash defeated Sting by disqualification. Back-to-back disqualifications. Wow.
Well, like, did any of these guys have titles? Is that why? Because a lot of count out and DQs in house shows.
Nash
win the title.
According to this, Nash is one half of the WCW Tag Champions at this time.
With Scott Hall?
Yeah. And that match leads us to an impromptu tag team main event of Sting and Lex Luger defeating Kevin Nash and Scott Norton.
Scott Norton. Okay. Hall was not there. Okay.
And we're actually going to go back to WCW a little later on after our review of Unforgiven, because something happens the next day that is memorable.
Next day. Okay.
All right. So let's get to Unforgiven in your house. This was April 26th, 1998. Greensboro Coliseum, Greensboro, North Carolina. 21,427 is the attendance. They do mention it in the show. It is a record for a wrestling event held in that building. I don't know if that is still the record or not. They had a buy rate of 300,000.
98 was a pretty successful year. 300,000 for an in-your house.
It's
pretty good.
Yeah.
Considering the matchups Like there's, we'll talk about it, but
Oh yeah.
it's not a
Now,
huge card.
I want to point out the previous year, the April In Your House of 97, real quick. That was In Your House, Taker's Revenge. That was held in Rochester, New York, with an attendance of 6,477. So they're in a much bigger building in this show compared to April of 97. Their pay-per-view number, their buy rate, rounds up to a 0.5. That's the 97 In Your House. This one, like we said, it did 300,000 buys.
Yeah.
Goes to a 0.85, which is much better than last year's In Your House. So,
well, like we always talk about 97 being this great year.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of don't see 97 being great until the summer.
Yeah.
So, and like WrestleMania 13, everyone's like, oh, that was one of the greatest matches of all time. That pay-per-view sucked.
Oh my God. Yeah. WrestleMania 13's not a good show.
Like people like, oh, Austin and Brett. Yeah, if Austin and Brett wasn't on it, it would be a glorified house show. It was not good.
I'm sure at some point we're going to get to WrestleMania 13.
We will.
At some point.
I like reviewing these In Your House events because I've seen probably every WrestleMania 2 or 3 times just because I'm a huge wrestling fan.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're picking a show to watch, if you have that ability, you're not gonna go pick some random In Your House from 1998. You're gonna pick WrestleMania 3 or WrestleMania 5 or 6 or some main event that you loved. That's why I like doing these reviews. But we will definitely start reviewing some WrestleManias if that's what the fans of the podcast want.
Well, I mean, we did.
All about that.
Well, I thought the way we did it this year was actually really well done.
Yeah.
Because we ended up doing 2 of the more overlooked WrestleManias.
Yes.
Especially 8. 8 is so overlooked.
That was fun because I think I had only seen 8 when I watched it when I was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
So that is fun. Like, and I promise you when we started this show that we would never review WrestleMania 9, but we might have to.
So I think someone would have to like bribe us to review 9.
It's fun to criticize bad wrestling.
It is.
Like, what if we just sit here and then review like all these matches that are fantastic?
Oh God.
Sure, it's fun that we can watch something great and say how good it is, but much better to criticize.
This show would have stopped by now. So.
Yeah. And we're going, what, 2 years, 3 years?
About, yeah, give or take.
We
now,
just had 50, I think.
Now, real quick, before we start the show or this review, when was the last time you saw this show? If you remember.
Last time I saw this show?
Mm-hmm.
Probably a few years ago. Like, it hasn't been that long. I do remember because I have the network channel on my TV, and I think I didn't sit and watch the whole thing, but I do think I remember seeing like maybe the Inferno match was on, and I was like, oh, let's check it out. So, but yeah, how about you?
It had been a long time. I couldn't put an exact number on it, but it's been a long time. So.
Nice.
So, with that said and the formalities out of the way, let's get into Unforgiven In Your House. So, we start off with a 6-man tag team match as D'Lo Brown, Mark Henry, and The Rock. Wait, who's The Rock? This is who?
He still announced The Rock, Rocky
Maivia. Yep.
So like I was like in my notes, that was the one thing I was gonna mention to you. It was like, do you remember when he actually became like just The Rock? Because I remember earlier in '98 he started having The Rock on his tights.
Mm-hmm.
So, and like in like '97, I'm pretty sure he was The Rock. like late 97.
Right.
So I can't pinpoint that time
Yeah, I couldn't
when
pinpoint
he
the
just
exact moment.
came out and like said The Rock or something like that.
Yeah.
It just kind of happened.
So
And then,
they're gonna face. Oh, sorry.
oh, go ahead.
So they're gonna face the team of Steve Blackman, Ken Shamrock, and wait, Farouk. Wait, I thought Farouk was the leader of the nation.
Yeah, this I believe it was the night after WrestleMania is when Farouk got kicked out.
Yep, that is
So
correct.
kind of like a storyline change.
Mm-hmm. And
At
that one had
I
been.
remember at WrestleMania, um, Ken Shamrock had the ankle lock, and then like the match was already over. Farouk came down and he like
Yeah,
doesn't help him, and that's kind of like probably the end of that the
because
nation.
that had been building up for a little while. So
But
so
but the Rock was starting to get too big,
yeah,
even at this time. So like he he had to kind of um I want to say distance himself, but he ends up becoming the leader of the nation, and then
mm-hmm.
Farouk gets put aside.
Yeah.
Probably a good way to do it.
So basically, that's how we get this 6-man tag match.
Yeah, well, you kind of have like Shamrock and The Rock had matches
Mm-hmm.
most of '98. I know they fought at the Rumble, and then they fought at
WrestleMania,
WrestleMania. Um,
and they had the finals at King of the Ring, which we did.
yeah, and King of the Ring would be 2 months after this show.
Mm-hmm.
So this is kind of like The Rock's rival, and this is kind of what I was going to criticize. I think they kind of dropped the ball with maybe a Farouk Rock rivalry because they don't really, from what I remember, they don't really have too much like interaction besides like that night after Mania and then like
Mm-hmm.
maybe the 6 man.
Yeah,
I think they probably could have had a little bit some more matches.
because I was going to point out one of the things that I enjoyed about this match is D'Lo Brown. Like he is in there for like the first quarter of that match.
Yeah, he's the
And
workhorse
oh my god, yeah,
of
he
the
is.
match for sure.
And he's just taking it from everybody and he's so good. Um so it's
when
like so it's like Farouk's team beats up on D'Lo for a while and then eventually Farouk gets beat up by the nation.
yeah, you see like the crowd was kind of going back and forth too.
Yeah, they were, which I enjoyed.
Like it was funny. Like one part of the match that I really liked was when Farouk like pulled the belt out and just started whipping him.
Oh my god, yeah, and everyone was going crazy. That was a good spot.
Yeah, but like the crowd was like, okay, like we've been booing this guy since he came in
Mm-hmm.
when he was the freaking gladiator that Sonny. Jesus, that was bad.
Yeah.
They've been booing him basically the whole time he had been in the WWF.
Mm-hmm.
Now all of a sudden, The Rock, who everyone finds hilarious, but they know they're supposed to boo him. Now they're cheering for Farouk. It's kind of weird, but that kind of goes back to what I was talking about earlier about heel and babyface.
Yeah. So the end of the match, Farouk hits the Dominator on the Rock and pins him to win the match.
Yeah. Now this is kind of what I was saying before. Like I now correct me if I'm wrong. Do they have other matches after this? Because he's the
They
Intercontinental Champion. He should have got like a title match.
well, they face each other the next month at Over the Edge for the
You
Intercontinental
okay?
title.
Okay. And that was our first review.
Yeah, that was.
Coming full circle here. 98 might get done here soon.
It might.
We've done a few 98 shows, so okay, so that makes it a little bit better
Mm-hmm.
because that was a big win for Farouk,
It
knowing like
was.
in the storyline. For a 6 man match, like there's a group versus 3 randoms. I know they're great wrestlers, but that's not really a team that you would have pictured. And it
Right.
was kind of funny how Farouk is still wearing the Nation of Domination
Mm-hmm.
colors. Um, I thought it was an okay match. honestly, when I heard, like, I never look at the lineup when we do these reviews.
Same here.
I just want to watch it like I'm watching it for the first time. So I'm like I'm writing down, okay, the Nation Domination because they came up first. And then three random guys, I'm like, oh man, this match is gonna suck. And you know what? I thought it was okay, but I'm still giving it a C minus because I'm a hard grader.
Okay, I'm not that far away from you. I gave this a D plus.
Okay.
It was an enjoyable opening match. I mean, that's really the best way to describe it. Is it was just a fun, enjoyable match to start off the pay-per-view.
So why do you grade it a D plus? That's almost a fail. What
Mm,
didn't you like about it? Like I thought, um, like you, all respect to your grade that you
right.
want to. I'm just like I thought the timing was good, and I thought it didn't carry on too long. It didn't bore me. Everyone got their stuff in,
You know,
and then it was kind of like a surprise. Like I did not expect Farouk to get the win.
I'm trying to think, and I can't really say like why I gave it a D plus.
It's like it's a 6 man. It was okay. D plus.
No, I mean, but when I kind of think of that as like about a 2-star match, or whatever people
Sure.
go with these days. But
Yep. Do you have Meltzer stuff up there?
oh, I do.
My
Oh,
buddy Dave. Let's see
I
how close
want
we
you
are.
to guess. Oh my God, this is
Oh,
great.
well,
You'll
see,
never.
sometimes it's so funny. Like if you guys listen to our other reviews, we've been starting to go through the Wrestler Observer
Mhm.
just to kind of see DK versus Dave Meltzer. Sometimes we're bang on, sometimes we're way off.
Okay, I'm
I
telling you
It
right
seems
now,
like a match that Dave would probably hate, and I don't know why. I'm gonna
you'll
say
never get it.
I'm gonna say negative 2 stars.
He gave this half a star.
I was gonna say half a star, but then I'm like, okay, negative 2 stars. Okay,
But yeah, like
half a star.
we were more positive about this match than Meltzer was. So
Well, it wasn't in Tokyo, so
yeah, exactly. It wasn't in
it
Tokyo.
was in the Tokyo Dome. Damn.
It'd probably be 5 stars. All right. So after the match, Stone Cold Steve Austin comes out. No, we're not doing the main event right now.
I like the announcers how they were like, "This isn't on my lineup. It's going down."
I actually like this bit. Or
Yeah,
this
me too. Because you didn't expect it. I'm like, oh,
Mhm.
what's Austin coming out for?
So Stone Cold comes out and he confronts the timekeeper, Mark Yeadon.
And the funny story about this is the guy that tosses him the beers later.
Mm-hmm.
Later in, like, I don't think, like, was he drinking beer at this point?
I don't
Like after
know.
matches? I can't, I think it was more 99. But
Maybe this was
this,
Austin's test.
this is the actual guy that was tossing him the beer out of the cooler. And, like, man, they were bang on. So I thought that was kind of funny.
This might have been his actual test. Like, if you could get through this segment with me, I'm gonna let
Yeah.
you toss beers to me.
Yeah.
So basically, what Stone Cold said is, look, Vince told you to ring the bell Monday night on Raw. If you do it to me tonight, you're not making out of here alive.
Yeah. He basically, like, attempted murder. Like, he
Basically,
threatened him. Like, I'm going to kill you in
yeah,
rage.
without
This,
saying he's going to kill you. But,
yeah. Yeah. Don't screw Steve Austin.
but I liked it. I thought it was a good segment. So
And it didn't last too long.
look,
Austin came out like that's good for the crowd.
mhm,
Normally after the first match, you're like, oh man, I go grab a quick drink or go to the bathroom.
exactly.
And you hear the glass shatter, everyone's running back to their seats probably.
Mhm. All right. So our next match is for the European Championship as Owen Hart challenges Triple H. Now, China is she's going to be at ringside, but it's going to be different because she's going to be put inside a shark cage and it's going to hang some 10 feet from the ground because she can't interfere in this match.
Yeah. I see. I like the aspect of the shark cage, but I
Hmm.
was just watching the shark cage the whole time. I didn't even like pay attention to half of the stuff going on in the match because she's up there with her little saw
Hmm.
and, and she's bending the bar, which like I don't know if it's a fake cage or how she did it. Still kind of cool. You expected her to do that.
Hmm.
I'm like, why didn't Slaughter just like keep her in the back? Like, hey, sit there and then lock the door.
Yeah, exactly.
Like I know that's not as entertaining.
So
Um,
they have the match. Owen gets advantage for a little. Well, actually, they fight outside the floor before the bell even rings. So we have some action outside of the ring. Then they get back in the ring. Owen is in control. Pardon me. And then Hunter takes control. And like DK said, during this match, they look at China like they see her, with a file trying to cut the bar off, and she drops it. I'm not sure if that was planned or if that was like an accident.
well, the camera like went right to it, so
So yeah, it kind of makes me think.
it was probably a planned spot.
Yeah. And then she tries to bend the bar, break the bar,
Yeah,
which she does eventually bend it. But
yeah,
um, so towards the end, China makes it out, but she's 10 feet in the air. If she drops, she's probably going to break her legs. So Owen is distracted by this. Hunter comes back, and then we see the cage is lowering. So it's like, okay, what's going on here?
yeah,
Owen has Triple H beat. Like he's got him beat. And then here comes X Pac from out of nowhere with a fire extinguisher, hits Owen over the head with it. Hunter covers him 1, 2, 3. Hunter wins and retains the European title.
yeah. You know what? Like, honestly, I don't know what they were doing with Owen. Like when he comes back after the WWF Montreal screw job,
Mm-hmm.
that's going to be the hashtag going forward. We don't get in trouble.
Right.
Um, like I know I've talked about this a bunch of times when we've talked about Owen, but like he comes back in '97, the pay per view after Survivor Series, attacks the champ. You think he's going to be this like superstar freaking babyface, and then he just kind of he gets into this feud with Triple H, and he like at WrestleMania, China interferes and he
Like,
loses, and then he interferes here and he loses, and then he ends up like I believe he joins the nation here
yeah,
right
very soon.
after, like because he does mention that in because this is still the time where they were kind of like interviewing guys after the match, which I thought was kind of a cool concept.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then he actually swears. Like I was like really
Yeah,
surprising for Owen Hart to swear. Like it wasn't really his character to do that.
right.
So
Like,
um, but the match itself, I thought the shark cage was distracting, but like I've always said that Owen Hart was one of the greatest wrestlers of all time. I still believe that, and Hunter was a pretty good wrestler at this point. Like he got much better later.
mm-hmm.
But yeah, I thought this was a pretty good match. I would give it another C minus here, just based on the shark cage distracting me. Like I think if there was another outcome and maybe China wasn't involved in that situation, but that was kind of
Right.
the way the storyline was going, so can't really criticize too much on it.
To kind of hop on to, what you were saying with Owen at the end of 97, you could make a legit argument. He was either the number 2 or 3 babyface at the end of 97 going into 98. Like you could say Undertaker was the number 2 face because Austin's definitely the number 1 face at that
Well,
time.
and that was the problem, right? Like in '97, if Austin is actually hurt, like he was actually hurt by Owen, actually, which is kind of ironic. that maybe Owen has that Austin program.
Possible.
Like he comes back versus Sean, attacks him, and instead of what happened, maybe he wins the Royal Rumble. Maybe he goes to WrestleMania and he beats Sean for the title. If Austin can't do it, that could have been the backup plan. You don't know. Because I think in December of '97, I don't know if they knew
I
how
don't
long
think
Austin was going to be able to go
I don't think they did.
with that neck injury from SummerSlam. So
Um,
that's honestly something I never really thought about. But I would say now Undertaker being a babyface seems weird because he's the Undertaker, but I would probably say Owen and Undertaker were probably around that number 2 spot.
yeah. As far as the match goes, I also gave this a C minus. I thought maybe the pacing, maybe that's why the previous match was like a little bit lower than this one.
Yeah.
I thought this was a good enough match. Yeah, the cage was kind of distracting, but it didn't distract me enough to the point of like, okay, this is going to ruin whatever I gave this, rating. So
Yeah.
I figured a C minus was a good one. Um, all right. What do you think Meltzer gave this match?
Yeah, probably close to what we're saying, up maybe 2 stars.
2 3/4.
Okay. You just can't commit to that third quarter.
No,
That's
he can't. All right. Now, the intro for this next match is funny because I wondered if, and I thought about this. I wonder if you caught what the Fink called Jim Cornette.
I you know what, I did catch it, but now I'm kind of spacing on what it was, but
He
I did.
calls him Mr. NWA.
Yeah, yeah, Mr.
I
And
bet you
Cornette comes
Russo. I bet you Russo had him say that.
probably.
You're like, hey, bro, why don't you call Jim Mr. NWA, bro? You know,
I can't listen to anything Russo on any show because it's just bro, bro, bro. Like, do you know other words?
bro.
Like, imagine a Russo Hulk Hogan freaking production meeting. Bro,
Actually, you know
brother,
what? For
bro,
this is
brother,
I
bro,
I have to
brother.
does my friend have I gotta think now if my friend has an AI conversation of Hulk Hogan and Vince Russo. Now I'm trying to think if he does or not.
Yeah, I don't think my head could handle that. Bro,
Although I
brother.
will say this though, he has a hell of a vinyl record collection on eBay. Russo
Did you
does.
say though or bro?
Though,
Okay,
though.
bro.
Like if you guys ever look up Vince Russo eBay, he has an incredible record collection. Oh my god.
He's selling his records.
Yeah. Every song has the word bro in the title.
I hope so.
No, but in all seriousness, check it. I'll have to look for it again. Like the title, like his store's name. So okay, so Jim Cornette comes out. He bashes Greensboro because he was there forever.
Yep.
And this is going to lead us to the NWA World Tag Team title match. The new Midnight Express of Bodacious Bart and Bombastic Bob.
Isn't it the other way around?
I know. I'm just going by what is typed up on Wikipedia.
Bombastic. Yeah.
Bob and
Bodacious.
Bodacious Bart.
Yeah. Okay.
They defend against the Rock and Roll Express. And they come out to the Rockers theme.
Yeah. Like what? What? Like what? Would like? Why couldn't they just play their own theme song?
Oh man. Well, they like rock and roll. How about we give them the Rockers theme?
I love it. Oh, poor Vince.
Okay. The only good thing I could say about this match is Jim Cornette outside in the first few minutes of this match.
Oh, Jim Cornette was so great when he was outside of the ring in any match that he was involved in. He was the star usually with the tennis racket and everything. Yeah, I don't know really. Did they have a free for all back then? Because this should have been the free
This
for all.
should have been the free for all, but no, there's
You're
no.
you're in that part of the country. Okay, you get to see the Rock and Roll Express. That's pretty nostalgic, I guess. And then you got this new NWA thing going on. And no, like Jesus, it was bad.
It's bad. So yeah, Jim Cornette fighting Tim White is like the only good thing about this match.
Yeah.
Oh, and Jerry Lawler talking about the evening gown match. He just ignores this match.
He can't even like talk about it. He's just so excited. Like, oh my god, it's coming up.
Yeah, basically that's the match.
Yeah.
We don't need to go any further than that. Midnight's win.
Yeah. Yeah, it was pretty bad. I'm not gonna say F because the guys that were in the match are pretty good performers. Yeah, D minus. Jeez. It was a bad match.
I would have loved to forget
I'm
this.
not giving it an F.
No, but you know what? I'm with you on this. I did not give this an F because they at least put an effort into it. Yeah. I also gave this a D minus.
How boring is this show?
Well,
hopefully we disagree on something here, man. Like that's one thing about our podcast.
We disagree on that opening match.
Yeah. But we have a lot of the same opinions on.
I know.
This episode.
What do you think Meltzer gave this match?
Oh Jesus. I don't know. Half a star.
A star.
This was better than the 6-man?
Yeah.
What? Okay. Freaking Meltzer, man.
Oh.
Does he like in his reviews, does he like say why? Or does he just go, I watched these two? Like, is there a synopsis or anything?
I think I've found the best sentence that I could find.
Okay.
There was nothing wrong with the execution other than it was a step slow and nobody cared and came off as an old timers match. And that isn't going to play well with today's fans.
Okay, so he said there's nothing wrong with the execution except for everything they were trying to execute.
That's what it sounds like, basically.
Is that what he said?
Yeah.
I dissected what he said. Mm-hmm. Like there's nothing wrong with it except for everything. Yeah. And he's still getting paid to review wrestling.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would probably flip the two like I would probably give the 6-man if you're going to do 1 star and half a star for these. Like they must be giving half a star just because it was the Rock and Roll Express coming out to the Rockers theme.
All right. Now we're going to get through, I'm just going to say it right now, the worst part of this entire show for me. So Doc Hendricks, who is still Doc Hendricks in 1998, I don't know how or why, he just still is interviewing Luna Vachon because she has an evening gown match up next with Sable.
Yep.
Luna, you're a saint for going through with this, Luna.
Yeah, there's like so many storylines about how she wanted to like kill Sable in the ring.
So our next match is, I guess, the first ever evening gown match. I'm not really sure.
Well, because they used to have tuxedo matches.
Right. They used to have tuxedo matches. Right. So it is Luna Vachon versus Sable.
Yeah.
To win, you have to strip your opponent to her bra and panties. This is the forerunner to the bra and panties match.
Yeah, like evening gown sounds like a little bit more professional than bra and panties match.
Jim Ross had, I think, and I'm looking at this and I was like, as soon as I read it, I was like, yes, he did say it. Jim Ross had the best line to this match.
Yeah.
With Sable coming out to the ring, Jim Ross said, oh, hold on, got to get my hat for this.
He just has it ready to go. I love it.
Jim Ross says, you'd think Ric Flair walked out.
You know what? She did get a good pop.
And
Oh,
and
that's awesome.
here's the funny thing, because I
I'm
had to
surprised he
find
could. I'm surprised he could say Ric Flair on that.
here's the funny thing, because I had to find the Observer for that reviewed this show.
Yeah.
Ric Flair at this time is going through legal stuff with WCW, so he's like not in the company. So I guess JR saying that is okay.
Well, there was like if you look at some of the stuff around this time, there was rumors that Rick was gonna just be sitting in the front row
That
at
would
the
not have
show
surprised me.
just to like FWCW basically.
Piss off Bischoff.
Um, like he was still under contract, so he couldn't join the WWF.
Right.
He could go on their pay-per-view and sit behind JR so he's on camera or something like that, or sit in the front row. And would have been a huge distraction. It would have been kind of awesome. But yeah, I definitely noticed him say that. Like Sable had a big pop. She probably the second biggest pop of the night.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I just want to get through this quickly. So in like the first minute, Luna tears the skirt off of Sable. So she's already down one. Mark Marrow comes out, distracts Sable. Luna tears the top of the dress off. Luna wins.
Yeah,
That's the match.
I think it was 2 minutes and 50 seconds, and it was like too long.
And then after this match, Sable goes crazy, beats up Luna, goes under the ring to the point where when she comes out, she has Luna's bra and panties in her hands. So we were to assume Luna is naked.
Yeah.
And here, Sable, you could tell she had breast implants specifically for this match.
Yeah.
Dear God.
They looked a little larger than normal.
Okay, I have to read this statement from Dave Meltzer.
Oh my God.
Without the ridiculous boob job, Sable has a phenomenal body for her age. But with it, she looks like just another aging low-rent stripper. But through the magic of being on a high-profile TV show, she is a star.
Holy, never thought I'd agree with Dave Meltzer. Because you know what every woman wants to hear? How they look good for their age. How old was Sable in 1998?
That's what I'm looking up right now.
I'm gonna say like maybe early 30s. Not old. Like good for your age. Do that when you're like in your 40s.
Actually, you hit it. She's 30 at this time.
Good for her age. Okay, she's not 21. But that's kind of a weird comment to make for someone that's 30 and she's like the top female in the company.
But you know what it is though, and you could tell over the years, like when we do, go through like the different pay-per-views, she has a lot of work done on her.
Oh yeah, for sure. I thought
you could just tell.
I will now. I'd like to see what you say to this. The best Sable ever looked was the first night we saw her. WrestleMania 12, when she walked Triple H to the ring versus the Ultimate Warrior.
Wow.
She, she looked awesome. She looked beautiful in that match. She she wasn't wearing like this tight tight bikini thing or anything like that. Just looked really nice.
I
And
would, you know
I
what?
remember watching that pay-per-view, like we reviewed it and went, damn, that's probably the one and only time I really like. I was never a big Sable fan,
Yeah,
but
like
what she looked
honest,
like it was nice that they gave her some of those moments.
you know what? Now that you're saying that, like the first few months she's there
Yeah.
is probably the best she ever looked.
Yeah, well, like when she's Mark Marrow's valet,
Right.
and
And then when they turn her into being Elizabeth Jr., which we talked about in the SummerSlam review,
yeah,
it's like, no, it does not work. Not at all.
no, because nobody was going to be Elizabeth.
No. Mm-mm. Um, Now as far as this match, this just gets a straight up F for me. I don't ever want to see this match
What
again.
were they hoping to accomplish with this? Just like extra buys from.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Hey, we might see a nipple. Let's watch it.
Give Sable a few more months. You'll see a nipple.
Yeah, and Luna gets the victory.
Oh my gosh. You know what? I forgot to mention this. I don't know why this popped in my head, but during the Owen match, someone
Yeah,
had a sign that said Playboy needs China.
yeah, and then they end up
I,
getting her.
I guess because Sable would end up being in Playboy, so
Was she already in Playboy at
not
that?
yet. That doesn't happen, I think, for another year.
Because Sable was the first one,
Right.
right? Of wrestlers. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's maybe that guy knew something.
But as far as this match, it's an F. I think it's the worst one we've reviewed up to this point. I feel so bad for Luna,
You know
especially
what I thought
after
of
hearing the stories.
after I watched this match? I thought of
Your wife and like, honey, I love you.
well, I did. Well, I always think of that, but um, I thought of WrestleMania 35 main event.
Oh my God,
Women,
yes. How far we've
three,
come.
how far we've come.
Yep.
Um, now, like in '98, when I was, how old was I in '98? 16. I probably loved it because I was 16. Now, like looking back on it, it was just like it was so brutal. Like even listening to like Jerry Lawler commentate,
Mm-hmm.
like it was hard to listen to like some of the stuff he was saying. And I know that was just the time.
Yeah.
Now I think about like Becky Lynch and Ronda and Charlotte main
Yeah.
eventing WrestleMania, and then like everything that they did with Sasha and Charlotte main eventing Monday Night Raw, and then Lita and
Bailey.
Trish doing it.
Yeah.
Like that was a little bit earlier, and like how like this time it was just like they're just eye candy basically. We're gonna have a 2-minute match. You're gonna get stripped. Both of you are gonna get stripped, and it's just gonna be this little quick segment. I'm happy with where it is now. Like
Oh God, yeah. It's come
women's
so
wrestling
far.
is. Yeah. So yeah, that like I don't honestly don't even want to give a grade for that. I don't even
That's
call that a
fine.
match. Like
You
I
do
don't even know
not
what it
have
is.
to.
Like I it like how could that match have not gotten an F? Like
Would you
I don't know.
would
Like
you like to guess what Meltzer gave this match?
oh my god. Well, okay, so they were trying to accomplish something. They did accomplish what they were trying to accomplish. So I guess it's a passing grade, but like for me watching it now, it's going to be an F. But Meltzer is probably going to rate this higher than the 6-man. But I'm going to say -1 star. I hope it's a minus. I really do.
Half a star.
So it's the same as the six
It's
man.
the same as the 6-man.
So those 6 guys go out there, they bust their ass. They have a 12-minute match, an opener, big win by Farouk. That's the same. That's the same as 2 women pushing each other, and then one of them gets their evening gown ripped off.
Right.
That's the same.
So for those keeping track, we've had in order half a star, 2 3/4, 1 star, half a star.
So basically, in Meltzer's eyes, besides Owen and Triple H, it's been a dud.
Yeah.
Like he
Yeah,
ranked
it's the
things
same
as
thing.
dud. He says
Ah!
that's not a dud.
Look,
Anyway, okay,
I
let's move on.
I at
I'm getting
least
mad.
look, I at least thought more highly of the 6 man than Meltzer did, even with a D+, which I actually have. Actually, I'm going to show you guys my little cheat sheet real quick. This is to remind me of like the ratings.
Yeah.
A D+ is 2 stars for me, so
Okay.
it got 2 stars for me. So anyway, um, Vince comes out because we need some time to kill. And he talks about how he was born in North Carolina, which is a legit thing.
He's a North Carolinian.
Yep. And that was pretty much the segment. I don't remember anything else except, hey, I was born here in North Carolina too.
Hey, I'm from here. You should not hate me so much.
Well, basically what he said was like something catastrophic is going to happen tonight. What it
Well,
is, we don't know.
a few catastrophic things happen, like an evening gun match.
Oh yeah. Yep. All right. Well, we're going to keep going here because the WWF tag team titles are on the line. New Age Outlaws come out first, and Road Dogg says that they have a guest manager that's going to lead them to one more victory. Former North Carolina basketball coach, Coach Dean Smith. I almost said the wrong name. And here's Dean Smith as a blow up doll.
See, I laughed.
This was good. It was good.
So I'm not completely mature yet.
Right. No, this was good. I had no problem with it.
Like I didn't like the evening gun match at this present time in my life when I watched it. But the Dean Smith blow up doll, hell yeah, that was great.
That's good.
Okay, so they face LOD 2000, which I didn't like. LOD 2000. I was gonna ask you this. Has Sunny before this show, had she ever managed a babyface tag team?
No.
Because I think that's kind of what screwed it up for me a little bit. Because she was always like
the heel.
Yeah, she was like the female Bobby Heenan, really.
Yeah.
Like she managed a few different teams. Like she didn't manage a bunch of people at once, like Bobby Heenan did. But yeah, just a little weird. And I think this is her last appearance, right?
She's got one more pay-per-view.
Does she do Over the Edge?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
All right. So
I don't know. I wasn't a huge fan of LOD 2000. I liked the New Age Outlaws. They were part of DX officially now.
Yeah.
About a month. Yeah. What did you think of this match?
Well, I just want to say real quick, we're at the point in our society where everything's gonna have 2000 behind it.
Yeah.
It's just gonna happen.
But why before 2000? It was like the future, maybe.
You know what? I didn't think this match was bad. I thought it was a lot better than Midnights and Rock and Roll. This particular version of Midnights and Rock and Roll.
Yeah.
It's just they haven't. I don't think they had found at this point yet, like their real go-to with the tag team division. Like LOD was good for veteran, like experience.
Yeah.
They just had not found like the combination yet to the success they had in the mid to late 80s and the early 90s.
Yeah, like this 98, and they had like their success in the mid 80s.
Mm-hmm.
In the WWF in like the early 90s.
Right.
So this is almost 10 years later.
Right.
So I think some of the younger fans maybe didn't even really know what was going on with them.
Mm-hmm.
I did like Animal in this match. I always liked Animal. When I watched all Road Warrior stuff, I thought Animal was so much better than Hawk.
Hmm.
Um, now that's not like I know Hawk had a lot of issues.
Right.
Um, I don't know if that like what the situation was here in '98 because I believe LOD is out of the company pretty soon here. I think
And I think either the end of this year or the beginning of the following year.
because they do have a time where Draws is part of their
Yeah,
group.
that's going to be not too long from now.
Yeah. So yeah, and I knew like the Sunny stuff just it happened at WrestleMania and then for maybe a couple months. So
Hmm.
I just like I know I'm rambling, but I couldn't really get into the LOD 2000 part. But like at WrestleMania when they came out, that was really exciting. But I was kind of over it pretty quick.
Right. Okay.
Um, and New Age Outlaws, I always liked them. Like I thought it was an okay match, but not
Yeah.
great.
I'll tell you what hurts this match for me is the ending. And I'll explain what I mean by that. So the Outlaws have Hawk. Road Dogg's going to hit Hawk with the belt. Hawk moves out of the way. He accidentally hits Billy.
Mhm.
Hawk grabs Road Dogg, hits a German suplex. 1, 2, 3. The bell rings. The crowd goes crazy, thinking we've got new champions. Then the referee goes to the Fink, tells him what happens. Fink announces the Outlaws keep the belts. And it's like, ooh. And then they hit the doomsday device on the referee. And then they showed the replay. This is like, I don't know if this is Kevin Dunn or whoever's in charge at this time. Okay, as far as the replay part, they did a good job because you couldn't see from the angle.
Yeah.
I went back to watch the end of that match because the fall, like it's on the hard cam. You can see clearly Hawk's shoulder, his right shoulder is off the mat.
Of
And
course.
it's right there.
Yeah, the whole thing about it was so dumb. Like if they had okay, 1, 2, 3, and then the LOD music hit, they get the belts, and then another ref came running
Right.
down.
That would be
Like,
understandable.
like why would the ref like if someone's doing a German suplex, why would the ref be looking at the shoulders of the guy doing the suplex? That would never happen. If anything, you would look at replay later and realize both shoulders are down, and then the champs would keep the belt. That's probably how they should have done it. Like if they're going to do this weird finish.
Right. But yeah, I mean, like if you watch the in real time, Hulk's right shoulder is up. It's just and you know it's
Yeah.
hard. I can imagine that move is hard to do with an ending like that. So I'm not going to blame Hawk on that one. It's just you know
Oh, so you think that was a mistake by Hawk? He's supposed to have his shoulders on the mat
maybe, but I don't know. I'm not going to blame
because they even have the ref like they even show the camera like the ref's not even looking at Road Dogg.
exactly. I
Like
kind of blame
why would you?
production on that one.
Yeah, like why would you be do like I like okay, everyone I know it's wrestling
Yes.
and there's a storyline. Okay.
Yes.
I know that. But to make it look real, like the ref should be looking at the guy that is getting pinned, not the one doing the pinning.
Mm-hmm.
Like and then if they had another ref come down and say actually both shoulders were down, because I think they had that in another match like
Yeah.
earlier in like 96 or something.
Right. Then it would have made sense.
Where they had like another ref come in and change the decision. That probably would have been better in my eyes, but you know, maybe they wanted um Billy Gunn and Road Dogg to keep the belts
And this was
and,
the best way they could think of
for
it.
LOD to like take a clean loss or a loss like when I look at this, I don't really see it as an LOD loss.
Mm-hmm.
You see the Jack Doan get the Doomsday, which looked kind of painful for him. I don't know if he
He
practiced.
sold that really good.
He sold it good, but yeah, he kind of landed a little awkward there. So hopefully he was all right. But yeah, that's like the match was okay, but the finish, like I don't
Yeah.
want to like shit on this whole show, but like this is a D plus.
I gave this a C minus.
Okay.
So
D
so we're
minus to D plus is pretty close.
yeah.
We're
I
still
mean,
kind of close.
yeah.
Like I almost want to like I remember we did a review one time. I can't remember what show it was, but I gave something a B plus and you gave it a D minus, and then we argued for half an hour about the match. That's what that was good.
I'm
It
gonna
was
have
it
we'll
was
have to.
Jeff Hardy versus Chris Jericho. I
Oh
think it was
yes.
No Way Out 2003.
Yes.
Shit all over the match. I thought it was the match of the night, and it was great. We just argued. It was good stuff. I think I even ended up got you to change your grade by a little bit because I had some
Yeah,
good.
you did. You did.
Yeah, that was the No Way Out '03, the Austin return. One of our
Yeah.
reviews.
Yeah. Okay. So what grade do you think Meltzer gave this one?
Oh,
Because he's
geez.
been pretty low to this point.
Um, it can't be worse than the evening gown. Okay, I'll say 3/4 of a star.
3/4 of a star. Very good.
See, I know the Dave Meltzer grading system now. If something is really bad, but not as bad as something else, you just kind of go up by like quarters.
Right. All right. I'm embarrassed to admit this next part, but
Okay.
I'm just gonna say it. I fast forwarded this next bit.
Oh,
I
I didn't know.
never,
I
I,
didn't know we were allowed to do that.
well, no, here's the thing. I never do it,
Okay.
but I'm just like, look, I want to get to the Inferno match. I don't want to hear this. I really don't. Plus,
What was it? Maybe I fast forwarded too.
plus, my dad is watching these 9/11 tributes on Fox News, and it's kind of
Yeah.
getting depressing. So I don't want to hear this.
What was the what did you fast forward?
Jeff Jarrett performing with Sawyer Brown.
Oh, you know what? I did fast forward that. I skipped like on my computer. I just like had the scroll bar so I could still see it, and so I did skip that part until Steve Blackman came out. And like,
Exactly. That was the only part to
okay,
watch.
so that's the skipping part.
So
Yeah,
yeah, and because I think they said Jarrett was the first guy to beat Blackman.
yeah,
So that's
yeah.
where that
You know
angle
what?
is going to
I'm
be.
all I'm all good with skipping that because I pretty much did the same.
Oh God. But
If we're not going to
apparently
review
there
it,
was a
like if it's a segment, we don't have to watch every little part of the
no.
show.
I
Have
mean,
some
I'll
special feature.
watch Rhythm and Blues perform honka 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 honky love at WrestleMania 6 over this any day.
Hell yeah. DDP driving him to the ring.
Oh,
That was his own car, too.
all right. So up next is basically the reason why probably most of the 300,000 people that bought this pay-per-view bought the pay-per-view. Undertaker versus Kane in an Inferno match.
Yeah, like someone's going to get lit
Burn.
on fire.
Yeah.
Like, damn. Yeah, I think when I went to watch this the first time, I'm pretty sure I saw it on pay-per-view and
Mhm.
I probably bought it so I could see Stone Cold defend the title for the first time, and to see someone like, how is this going to happen? Like, there's a crowd. How are they going to have fire around the ring? I thought it was pretty good how they did it.
Mm-hmm.
The one criticism is making the fire raise every time they did a move.
Yeah.
Kind of overblown a little bit. Like I think when Taker like jumped off the ropes and it came up the first time, that was kind of cool. But then it was like every time Kane would punch Taker, it was like
right.
big thing. So yeah, it was pretty interesting how they did this. I was kind of surprised that they didn't save this for like maybe a bigger event.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like a big deal, like in your house, Unforgiven.
I mean, we just did the Kane episode. We
Yeah,
just did it.
yeah,
Um, you know what? You're right. Actually, now that listening and hearing you, they did overdo like the fire raising bits. They did overdo that. Um, but
that was a big take away from it.
I felt bad for the people that had the front row seats on the
Yeah,
on the sides.
it was probably pretty hot.
Oh my lord. Um, so yeah, and I kind of forgot, like, okay, I know at some point they go out, but how do they go out? And Kane, like the way they do that, because Kane could have, like when he falls, he could have accidentally gotten himself on fire.
Yeah,
That was a risky spot,
yeah.
but it worked out well.
Hmm.
And Vader comes out because Vader had been put out by Kane.
Yeah.
So Undertaker is trying to get to Kane, but Paul Bearer's over where like the control is for the fire.
Hmm.
And Undertaker's like, screw it, I'm just gonna go for it. And he does this wonderful dive over the top of it's an iconic Undertaker moment
Yeah.
for his career. And it comes off so good. So after that, Paul Bearer grabs a chair, hits Undertaker in the back, does absolutely nothing. Chases Paul Bearer up to the stage, and Paul gets a drum solo. Ha 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 ha.
Nice.
And Paul Bearer bleeds a little bit. Probably, I think that might have been a legit like him bleeding. Like I don't think he.
Well, they were focusing on it, so I think it was a blade job, but you never know.
You never know.
Usually, if like when the camera goes zooms in on it, it's like
Mm-hmm.
something that's supposed to happen.
So Undertaker goes back to Kane. They're fighting, and he gives him like a punch or a kick or something, and Kane stumbles backwards, and his arm is on fire,
Yeah.
and he's like going away, and he's like this, the arm movement, and Undertaker wins. Undertaker wins the Inferno match.
Okay. So there's one thing I noticed in this show, and I want to know if you noticed this.
Okay.
Okay. Do you remember what X-Pac did earlier in the show?
With the fire extinguisher, right?
Yeah. Did he put it back? Because I think
Ooh.
X-Pac hit Owen, and then they took the extinguisher, and then they couldn't put Kane out because there's no extinguisher, and then he had to run off. That's obviously
Ooh.
it's obviously a joke, but I didn't notice that.
I didn't even think
I,
about that.
I thought they did this extremely well because they had the pallbearer distraction,
Mm-hmm.
so they could kind of get Kane set up to get his arm caught on fire, which I thought was really well done because he
Yeah.
like I never noticed that the first few times I saw this match. Not really. Like I've gone back and forth with my rating here. Like it was pretty impressive that they were able to pull this off. Um, I'm just curious what you thought about this because I've kind of gone back and forth a few times.
I think the spectacle of the match is what helps it more than
Yeah,
anything else
for sure.
because you are limited with what you're going to do because it's fire,
Yeah,
like fire, fire. So you're limited with what you can do. And this is the first time they've ever done this match. So again, the spectacle of the match helps more than anything else, I think.
yeah.
Which is why I gave this a C plus.
Yeah, like it's kind of what I had. C plus, C. I went back and forth.
Yeah,
Do you think that Kane should have won this match?
no.
No,
Mm-mm.
because the storyline is Undertaker set the house on fire,
Right.
killed his parents, thought he killed his brother.
Mm-hmm.
Kane's coming back for revenge. He loses at WrestleMania, but he kicked out at 3 1/4.
Right.
The next month, his brother sets him on fire on pay-per-view. Like, I I know like Kane ends up doing good things, but
Mm-hmm.
obviously it would have been harder to like Undertaker on fire here. But like if maybe like Undertaker makes a small mistake and then he gets caught on fire, and then
Maybe.
Kane just gets that victory over his brother, I thought that would have been a little bit more interesting. But the way they did the whole storyline between those two was just fantastic that we talked about during the Kane episode. So yeah,
I
I'm gonna give this a C plus as well.
okay. I think one other thing before we get to Meltzer's thoughts. I think what makes this a unique match in general is we don't see many of these after this match. Like, I can't tell you off the top of my head how many more there have been, but if I had to guess, it probably would all be on one hand.
Did they do an Inferno match with like Bray Wyatt or something?
Yeah, but they had to change it, like the name, to a Ring of Fire match,
Okay.
or as I called it, the Johnny Cash Memorial.
Nice. Um, yeah, because like the only one I really remember is this one. Now I'm sure like people want to write in the comments like other Inferno matches. I just can't remember them.
Yeah.
So I guess they weren't as good.
All right. So how do you think Meltzer graded this one?
Well, I'd like to think that he graded it similar to us, where like it was a decent match, but the spectacle kind of made it better. So I'm gonna say 3 stars.
2 3/4.
Yeah, close enough. At least it did better than the evening gown match.
Oh yeah.
They should have put those two in a fiery ring. Ugh, catch your evening gown on fire.
Someone's silicone will be on fire. Sable. All right.
That's Brock Lesnar's wife, which is still weird.
Yeah, I know. Look, okay, you know what? Mark Marrow, who's on Facebook, and he's a wonderful person. He's actually like wished me happy birthday on Facebook in the past.
That's pretty nice of Mark Merrill.
Mark, why didn't you fight to keep your woman? I don't care if it's Brock Lesnar.
Because it's Brock Lesnar, man. Yeah, didn't he do an interview where it's like, "Hey, this other guy is going after my wife," and then he found
And
out
then
it
he
was Brock
finds out who
Lesnar, and
it is. He's like,
he was Brock Lesnar, and he's like, "You can have her."
yeah, pretty much.
Obviously, like maybe things weren't going the way he wanted them.
That's true too. They might not have. So
And when someone doesn't want to be with you anymore, like, do you really want to fight in that situation, or you just kind of let them go?
Yep. All right. Time to the main event. For the WWF title, Stone Cold Steve Austin, first title defense on pay-per-view against Dude Love.
Yeah.
And the build up to this, especially the episode of Raw where Austin fights McMahon, is the episode that ends the 83-week streak of Nitro beating Raw in the ratings.
Yeah. And was this Raw one of the live ones, or was
It
it?
was a live one.
Yeah. Well, if you find out that Austin's facing McMahon in a match, like you're gonna change that channel.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, like I've said in the past, in Canada back in the day during the Monday Night War, we couldn't watch Nitro live. We
Right.
could all. It came on Wednesdays, on the sports network here. So Raw was live
Mm-hmm.
for us. Like so that's probably a major reason why I was a bigger WWF fan, just because like we usually found out what happened on Nitro. So it was, but yeah, that was the first time that they broke that record, with
Nearly 2 years.
one arm tied behind your back. It was I like how they set it up.
Yeah. I
This
really think
Love's not a heel.
I really think looking back on it now, because you had mentioned earlier, what if Sean hadn't been injured? We talked about that. I've heard this talk very rarely, but it is something I have thought about. What if this was going to be Pillman? Like if Pillman doesn't die, he stays to 98.
Yeah.
He's the one who faces Austin first, not Dude Love.
Yeah, that would have been good.
That would have been good.
I always thought it could have been Triple H, because he was kind of defending maybe Michaels,
Mm-hmm.
but I thought a lot of like podcasts or other research I've done is they just didn't think Hunter was ready for that main event spot yet.
Right.
If you look at other heels that were there, that's like the one criticism I have of the Attitude Era at this point, was there wasn't enough heels that were over enough to face them. So
Yeah.
like if you look at like Dude Love twice, and then he loses to Kane at King of the Ring, wins the title back right away, and then he has this thing with the Undertaker for a bit, but they're both kind of baby faces. It was weird, and then he loses to Kane and Undertaker before he comes back in the end of '99. So like a lot of people will say Stone Cold is one of the GOATs, which he is for what he brought to the business, but his title runs, like I was always much more interested in him chasing the title than when he had it.
Right. You're more interested in the chase better than the catch.
And like Austin never defended a title at WrestleMania. Like he always was
Right.
winning.
That could be, you know what? That in itself could be a future episode. Who was better at chasing the title than holding the title? That would be a great episode.
Yeah, but yeah, I think like in that situation, probably Stone Cold being one of the top ones, because he was usually chasing it.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so as far as this match goes, it's a good match.
Yeah. Man, Mick Foley takes some bumps though.
He does.
That hip toss onto the concrete.
Brutal. And then Vince comes out at one point and he tells Patterson and Briscoe, go to the back. You're good. And he's there for the rest. And at one point, he even goes to the timekeeper, like, ring the bell. And JR's going crazy. Like, he's telling him to ring the bell, but he doesn't see it or do it. Yep. And then the ending is weird.
Yeah, it is.
So the referee gets knocked out.
Mm-hmm.
Dude Love goes to the floor. He and Austin fight. McMahon is there, and there's a chair. So Vince goes to help pick up Dude Love. Austin grabs the chair, swings, and hits Vince, which gets this huge pop.
Oh, yeah, that was a headshot on a guy he's not a wrestler.
Exactly. So
just swing it.
So he rolls Dude Love into the ring. He hits the stunner on Dude Love. Austin counts the 3 himself. And then
the match just ends. Like,
it just ends.
That's how, like, if you're over enough as Stone Cold was, then like he just became the ref. Now if you look at the results page, it says Dude Love defeats Steve Austin via disqualification.
Right, which we're going to get to.
There's no ref to call
Well,
it.
they explained that because, well, actually, it was Gerald Briscoe who told Finkel
Okay.
because Austin hit a WWF official, he's disqualified.
He's the owner.
Hey, the owner, man.
Briscoe
So
body shot.
Vince is like, he sells that chair shot. He's like playing dead.
Yeah.
And the like you could like I could tell like some of the crowd is leaving, some are staying to see what happens.
Yeah.
And then you see the chair shot again, and then JR's like, was it an accident or was it on purpose?
He swung like that part always bugged me. He didn't even look like he was trying to hit Dude Love. He was
Right.
aiming it the whole time. It wasn't even close. Come on, JR.
And that's how the pay-per-view ends.
Yeah. I would like to almost when something like that, I almost like want to watch like the Raw right afterwards and see what happened. Because I don't know if like I and this is like when he becomes Mr. McMahon for me.
Mm-hmm.
After this, when he like inserts himself in the next show as the referee, and then
Yep.
you got the timekeeper and the guest ring announcer. Um, people think it's like Mr. McMahon after Bret Hart got screwed over. I think it's more at this point.
Yeah, because it kind of had to build up a little bit.
But like you said, I liked the match. If Austin would have hit McMahon with the chair, which was like the big point of the match, and then like let's say the ref didn't see it, and then he hits Dude Love and gets the win. Does that make it better or worse? I don't know. Like I obviously they were setting up for Over the Edge with this match.
Yeah.
But for for what the guys in there, like no disrespect to Mick Foley, but when I see Dude Love, I don't like, I don't know, like would have been better if it was one of his other characters, maybe.
Well,
But it was kind of interesting too. So, I liked it. I always wanted there to be stronger heels for Austin at this point of his career for his first title run. But based on the way it went, I liked it.
well, here's the thing, though. To go back to the McFoley argument, the Cactus Jack character left like
Yeah.
a few weeks prior because he was upset with the fans chanting Austin.
Yeah.
I don't think you could have done anything with Mankind yet. I really don't. Dude Love was kind of the only option you had, and it's a character that wasn't as over that you could make a heel, so it kind of works to an
He had
extent.
he had the history too because they were tag champs.
Yeah, exactly.
So
So
that kind of, you know what, like now that you're explaining it that way, that's probably the right thing to do. Because when Dude Love comes out, essentially to help Austin at the on that Monday
right,
Raw talking about, like Austin, like they're buddies kind of because they were champs together back in the
right.
days. Like I when I watched that Raw, like I did watch that live, I did think something was going down when Dude Love's coming out. Like, oh, what's happening here? I did not expect Dude Love to be like the first challenger versus Stone Cold.
Exactly.
Because when Austin wins the title and he comes out, his adversary is Vince. It's not a wrestler. So like usually like you start your new storyline out like after WrestleMania, but Vince was the guy that he was fighting with, so you didn't know who that challenger was going to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll probably give this one a C plus. I liked the way the match went. It was funny how Austin counted his own fall.
I gave this a C. And I think part of it is because the next month, that match is so damn good. It
Yeah.
kind of like spoils this one in a way.
Well, this one's kind of like the trailer, and
Yeah,
then that's the main event. This is like the
exactly.
setup, and
Plus,
I'd want to review it, but we already did.
we already did. Plus, we had, the Inferno match before that, and it's like maybe it took a little out of me. So,
Yeah, you almost maybe want to have the Inferno match and then maybe the evening down match, and then this one.
right.
Like having those the dual main events like right back to back. Sometimes you need a like a get me up match in between.
Yeah. All right. What do you think Meltzer rated this match?
Well, you know what? I've been pretty close with Dave on this one. Probably, I want to say 3 stars, maybe a little bit less.
4 stars.
Okay, I was underestimating because I was kind of hoping that he did better than that. So
Yeah.
so his rating that'd be around a B for us.
Yeah, about.
So we're a little bit more critical than Dave on
Mhm.
this one.
Okay. So I kept the WCW results up for a specific reason.
Okay.
And after I read everything, I like in my head was like, oh my gosh, this happened that night. Okay. So the next night on Raw, because we normally don't talk about this stuff at all unless it needs to be talked about.
Sure.
The next night on Raw is live. Nitro is taped.
Really? I didn't know. I thought Nitro was always live.
I thought it was too, but this one is taped.
Okay.
This is the episode of Raw where DX goes to invade WCW.
Oh, really?
This is the show.
So this is when DX becomes baby faces
Yep.
for me. Like I don't know how you classify it, but on Unforgiven, they were a heel group still.
Yeah, I kind of thought like until they feuded with the Nation, they were still
Yeah. Like when they
heels.
did that where they came out dressed as the Nation, one of the best
Mm-hmm.
segments of all time. That was kind of like their babyface routine. But okay, so Nitro was taped. So DX had done this the week before.
No, this happened the next night after
Okay.
the pay per view.
Okay.
Raw is in Hampton, Virginia. Nitro, which does air the next night, is
Yeah.
in Norfolk, Virginia.
Okay.
So they're within driving distance of
Okay.
each other. So they have the Jeep, everything, and they go and this is like, how did you get the tickets? Oh, we were given the tickets. And
Never free. Remember
yep.
that kid?
So yeah, this is the night that DX invades WCW.
There was okay, four guys in China,
Mm-hmm.
a whole WCW roster. Why didn't they just open? Why didn't they just open the door and let them come in?
That's what they were saying. Was like, why wouldn't you open the door?
Because worst case scenario, DX comes in and like it makes WWF more popular.
Mm-hmm.
But it would be on your show.
Yes.
They wouldn't let the WWF cameras inside. It would have been the Nitro cameras catching DX. And
Mm-hmm.
then you could have all the WCW roster just beat the living hell out of these guys, like shoot, like an actual shoot.
Well, Nash would have just welcomed them in with open arms.
Oh yeah, Nash would have been like, "Hey, what's up?"
Hey, how you doing?
Yeah, yeah. So like, I always like, I kind of thought it was a planned thing, but like now you look at it, like in no way it was a planned thing because those two companies wouldn't have been working together
Oh my God, no.
in '98. So, um, yeah, that's interesting. I didn't know that was the next night, really.
I didn't know either.
So yeah, and so yeah, DX was babyface then. They're riding a tank to
Mhm.
WCW. We're firing the first shot, as Hunter said. So
Yep.
that's really interesting.
Yeah.
So what did you think of the pay-per-view in a nutshell here?
With the exception of the final two matches, you know what? I would say the first two matches and the last two matches are good enough to watch.
Yep.
Everything else is skippable.
Yeah.
It is just
For sure.
skippable.
For
This might be my least favorite show of 98. Like,
sure. Okay.
I think I'd have to watch like some of the other In Your Houses to determine if
Well, I know for one that that February show is bad.
that's a one match show right there.
Yeah. They put all the stars in the match, and then Savio Vega's secret partner Sean's out there is so bad.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I agree. I think the Owen match was pretty good if China wasn't distracting everybody. Um, I like the 6-man match. I The biggest point I got from this is 98 tag team wrestling wasn't good.
No.
I didn't like the tag team matches. Like, even like, look at the guys that were in the match, like New Age Outlaws, the Legion of Doom. Bob Holly's a pretty good performer.
But
Um,
at the same time, not to cut you off, at the same time, we're not at the point yet where the division becomes good. I think it takes like that summer for it to become a good division again.
yeah,
So we're still kind of like in the dark times, but they
yeah,
eventually get out of it.
yeah, yeah. So I enjoyed the show. Like, I like watching things that are bad so I can criticize, and I like watching good stuff too, and it takes me back. Um, I should mention that off camera we decided our next review. I've already kind of watched some of it. That we're going to be doing Survivor Series 1999,
Mm-hmm.
a show that I don't think I'd ever seen before.
I
Even
have memories of that show for completely different reasons than anybody could think of. So,
okay, so I'm looking forward to that. I don't know if that'll be our next episode or if we're doing a wrestler
right, we'll have to
file.
figure that
But
out.
we'll talk about that. We got a few other things on the go, but
Mhm.
that will be our next review. So stay tuned for that one.
Yeah, and don't forget to join our Facebook group, the DK and Bill Wrestling Podcast.
Yeah, we have been getting more members lately. It's been nice.
I've been inviting some, so
Keep inviting, keep inviting. Well, the more people we get, the more people that can invite, and then we can grow the group a little bit
yep,
more.
we'll make it across.
Yep.
Well, thank you all for tuning in. We'll talk to you all again next time.
Have a great time.